Well, hello. My name is Pedro Sanchez, and I'm going to talk about the history of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Well, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in January 15 of 1929. He was a mixture from a school teacher and a Baptist minister. As you already know, well, about his father was a Baptist minister, so he grew on the church, and he also decided to become a minister just like his father. And that's why he had like that facility to talk and made everything that he made. Well, King entered college at the age of 15, a very young age, and he graduated in 1949 with a degree on sociology. Well, the Dr. Martin Luther King was really important in his college. He was one of the most important persons in there. And you know why? Because he was one of the first black male to enter the college. Well, wait a second. Well, the Dr. Martin Luther King became to be a minister in 1954, and he was a pastor in the Church of Montgomery. Yeah, as you already remember, that I talked about in my last presentation about Rosa Parks. Montgomery was this place when where every black person had like these very different rights from the white people. Well, now he received his doctorate degree in the systemic theology from Boston University in 1955, something that was really important. He was one of the first to get the first black persons to get this degree. And let me continue. Well, the Dr. Martin Luther King was married with a girl that her name was Coretta, and he was like in that time he was one of the greatest leaders of his movement because he started all these boycotts, and everything started from the Rosa Parks movement. If you don't remember the Rosa Parks movement, I'm going to make you remember some of it. Well, in that time there was a law that didn't allow the black people to get in the bus. Well, yes, they got in the bus, but they got only the part from the behind. And Rosa Parks was in the first seat of the bus, something that wasn't allowed for black people. So he decided, so she decided to didn't move from there, and that was something that really started a really big movement. Well, they called the police and they made Rosa move from the train, but Rosa didn't move. Well, now let me skip to the next presentation. The Dr. Martin Luther King was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi from the not militant stance, because one of the things that Mahatma Gandhi said once is that it doesn't matter what you do, the violence is never the solution. So that's why Martin Luther King always made his movements with no violence, and that's something that made him really respectful. Well, now let me skip to the next presentation. On December 10 of the 1965, Dr. Martin Luther King won the Nobel Prize on the Peace. Well, that was something really important at that time, because the Nobel Prize of Peace is an award that like not a lot of people get. He got one just like Mahatma Gandhi, and that was something that was really important in his life. Well, the Dr. Martin Luther King's success was attributed to these constantly shared principles: the fundamental Christianity, the church, and all his religious ideas and traditions from his family. Because as you already know, and I told you, the Dr. Martin Luther King was educated in a Baptist family on the church, and he also grew up as a minister in his church. Let me skip to the last presentation. Well, during the Vietnam War, the Dr. Martin Luther King started to make a new movement and started to reorganize his ideas from returning to that focus on the racial discrimination. And he also started to make movements not only for his people, but for all the world. Well, this was the last presentation, but I'm going to tell something that I think it was really important for me. The Dr. Martin Luther King once had a speech that I really enjoyed, and this is a phrase that most of the people that like the Martin Luther King movement really remember, and it was, "I have a dream." And he talked about how he had a dream in which every black person was just like the white people and have the same rights. And as you know, well, the things are starting to change. I think that the Dr. Martin Luther King was one of the most important persons in the black history, because basically all the movements started with him, and he is an example for for every person in this world, that if you want something to change, you got to do it yourself. Well, my name is Pedro Sanchez, and it was all for today. Thank you for listening to me. Well, and this was all. Thank you.